You are listening to GHP Radio, powered by iTrackRadio.com, your independent music source. Fresh, new music, right here on the all-new GHP Radio, your new independent music source.
what your mind can conceive. Nights over Egypt. Nights over Egypt. Nights over Egypt. Incense and myrrh and girls that swirl to the music. Nights over Egypt.
everybody, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful weekend so far, and hope everything is going well for you. But we're very happy and excited today because we have a special guest today. We're very excited about having on the show, and he's been on the show a few times, but it's been a minute though since he's been on, and we're happy to have him return to us. Help me welcome Mr. John Carey's in the house. Hello, John.
Indeed. All right, now, how you doing?
Man, we are doing just great. Welcome to the show, man. It's great to have you back on the show, and man, it's just exciting to be able to talk to you today because I know you got a new project, which was very exciting to talk about too as well today. We'll definitely get into that, but I want to welcome you here, and of course, I know it's been a minute because right now we have kind of new faces here on the show. Of course, you just met Vaughn, and
right.
CTK is usually here, but CTK is actually on a venture this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's doing some things up in LA. He said so he had to drive from San Diego to LA to do some things this weekend. So he's going to be tied up. But me and Vaughn is here to talk
Cool.
to you, man. And
Cool, man. Appreciate that.
yeah,
Appreciate
I think the
that.
last time I got to see you, um, but it was virtually when CTK was actually helping us.
And Nam.
Helping us bring the
Yeah.
Nam in on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing them this year too. So like, I know a lot of cats come out, so that's when it's almost like a reunion for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hoping to
So,
get out there myself. The next time around. So that would
yeah.
be awesome to do that.
Yes, for sure. Yes, for sure. It's a meeting place. I mean, people I haven't seen in years. I get a chance to run into them, and
Mm-hmm.
see what's going on in their musical life.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough to have CTK do his little remote from there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah,
He
yeah,
looked like
yeah,
he was
yeah.
just
It
a
was
kid
cool.
in a candy store the whole time
Right,
he was there.
right, right. I know when he ran into me, he was like, "Hey," I was like, "Yeah, what's up?"
I know. Yeah,
Yeah, it was cool.
it
It was
was
so cool.
really cool. But yeah, man. So tell us a little bit about this new project, man, because it's exciting. It brings me back
Yeah,
to the time, man. I love it.
yeah. This is it's called a tribute to Curtis Mayfield,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm from Chicago, and so Curtis Curtis Mayfield was like a staple in my mom's house, right? So, matter of fact, my mom, my uncles, and everybody, all of them, they grew up with him. They went to school with him, and
Wow,
with him and Jerry Butler and Sam
my
Cash and
goodness.
all those people. So when I was when I was thinking of, man, I should do something like a Curtis Mayfield thing, and I had no idea of how I was going to create it, right? So I was like, okay, let me just start out with a couple of tunes, and start writing. And then my drummer that's out here, he says, "Man, that cut sounds like a Curtis Mayfield tune." And I was like, "Yeah, I had been listening to his whole discography, of everything, and so it kind of influenced me just to start writing. And after the first song, I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and write 10 songs. That's all of them in the same vein, and just make them, a Curtis Mayfield thing.
Yeah.
And so I send it to one of my friends is Curtis's son, which is
Okay.
Curtis Mayfield number three, right?
Yeah.
The third. So I send it to him, and he was like, "Man, that's pops. That sounds just like my pops." Yeah. So I
Wow.
was like, "Okay, now I know I'm in the right area, you
Mm-hmm.
Right.
know." And
Mm-hmm.
so when I started writing them, I was like, they was just flowing. They was just coming back to back to back. I had before I even finished one song, I already had a piece to the third song or the fourth song or the fifth. So it was like being blessed with, like, okay, you wanted this, now you got it. Okay, now you got to take the time out to sit down and put them all together.
Mm,
So I was like, once I did that, and I'm gonna sit back and listen to it, and I was like, wow, that has all the influences of everything from even from Curtis with the impressions
Mm-hmm.
from the '60s all the way to the Superfly in the '70s. I had
right.
all those things, those little pieces, and I was like, okay, let me just. Then I started mixing and mastering and that kind of stuff, and they turned out. I mean, not blow my own horn, but they sounded decent. They sounded decent enough to be a part of my discography of my own stuff that I've
Mm-hmm.
got. And so but I had to explain to people, they're so used to me playing smooth jazz when this is not smooth jazz.
Right.
This is old soul, basically old R&B, an influence of Curtis Mayfield. Because I had a couple of DJs say, I don't hear no Curtis Mayfield songs on here. No, this is not I'm not recreating his songs.
Right.
You know, I had to say that over and over and over again. I was like, maybe there was something I could have done different to get that point across, because that part, people, when you say a tribute, people automatically think that you're doing his songs, and you know, and that was something that to me, I was like, that's almost like you can't do something that's already been done to the greatest of greatness.
Yeah.
Like, how could you redo Superfly?
Right.
No, can't do it.
No,
Yeah.
no. That's when I hear people trying to do Anita Baker or whatever. Don't do those things. Those songs is already said. I've done it to the greatest of that can be. You know. So when I listen back to any of that Curtis Mayfield stuff, I was like, no, it's easier for me to sit back and read and write something in the vein of
Right.
Curtis Mayfield. You know. So that's how those songs came about. And, you know, it's I've got really good rapport. One of the songs, "Trap," is number 9 in the UK right now. It's so I'm excited about it, and it's only been out 3 weeks. You know, it's got over 10,000 streams on Spotify.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's cool. Yeah.
So it's like I'm excited about this project, you know, and I look at it as that. This is a project of something that God said, you know, write this, you know, and I give all rewards go to him, you know.
Absolutely.
It was him that woke me up, in the middle of 3 o'clock in the morning, and said, go in that room and put these tracks down, you know. So I look at it like that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like, because what you were really looking for was just the essence of Curtis.
Yes.
Yeah, just that essence.
Yes.
And you just adapted into your perception of, you know, what Curtis was all about, which is special because, you know, I think that if you're going to do a tribute, that's all you can do, you know.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. But
That's true.
I'm anxious to hear it, because I can only imagine what, you know, John Carey's ideas and that essence of Curtis sounds like, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to, you know, hearing some of the cuts from it. So I'm thinking it's going to be, so I can find you on Spotify right now, right?
Yes, you can right now.
Perfect.
Indeed. Yes.
Because I'm a program director for a radio station right now, so it's like,
oh wow, cool.
you know, I'm deep into that whole, you know, putting that mixture together, because primarily it's a jazz station.
Yes.
But, you know, when it comes down to music, the essence of the blues is the foundation of everything. Every single thing you touch. Yeah, and I think that, you know, you can't isolate whatever that is, because it's all part of the same foundation. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it, man, especially if you're going to do Curtis, because Curtis meant a whole lot to a lot of us.
Man,
you know, in our upbringing, you know.
It's everything that's happening right now. I was telling my brother, I was just, look where we're at now, and look where we were at in 1963 and 64 and 65. For those of us, like I'm 69, so those days I definitely remember each one of those days. So it's like, look what's going on. Look at the time we're in.
Right.
You know, and what's different? There's really nothing different from that time to here we are now in 2020. Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That is true. That is so true.
So everything he was writing about, especially the impression days, is to keep on pushing and all of those good things. Man, all of that. That's why I'm saying you can't redo those songs, because those songs today they could be #1 songs.
They could. Most definitely.
Oh yeah.
Most definitely. Yeah.
They
You
fit
know.
right in.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
That is so
So
true.
in the whole in the recording process of it though, um, what were your sidemen like when you actually got the guys together and explained what you were trying to do? How how did that
What
work?
okay, so what I started to do, here I'm taking from where when I was getting ideas, I was like, okay, I can feel and I can hear everything that I wanted on the track. So when I'm talking to people, I'm saying, look, man, I like to have this like this. Can I get this like this? And it wasn't either I wasn't explaining it right because to me it was a feeling, and I'm a multi instrumentalist person. So okay, so I
Gotcha.
play keys and I play program, I do programming and all that. So
Right.
I found it much easier for me not to use anybody
Hmm.
and for me to do all the tracks.
Wow. Okay.
So
Mhm.
every track that's on that whole album, I did.
Yeah.
Every vocal, every background, every keyboard, every horn line, every strings, whatever's that's on that album, I did it.
Mhm.
You know, it wasn't easy,
I was
but I
going to say that
did
was a heck of an undertaking.
it. You know, I can say it was me and God. We got together and we
Right.
connected, and He sent me those whatever the melody I needed, whatever the chord arrangement I needed. He sent me that, and I mean, sometimes I listen back to it. Even now, I'm like, wow, did you know that was going to go right there like that? You know, and
Right.
you don't have a clue. You do not have a clue until you're done. Once you're
Mm,
done,
mm.
Yeah.
and it was like I had a DJ from New York, Pete. He called me and he says, "Man, you did this?" I was like, "No, no, I did not me. Spiritual me." And God took over and said, "Look, this is going to go like this. This 16 bar is going to go like this. You know, you're going to do a solo, right? You know, so because you're out of your thing. You know, you know, I've when you produce music, don't ever expect that's coming from you totally.
Right.
That's not
Right.
that's not you know. So you got a lot of help.
Yeah.
And for me, I knew that wow, this is when you when I listen back to it now, even now, here it is 3 weeks, 4 weeks later. And wow. And then I got it done. I got the whole album done in 3 months.
That was
And
yes.
that was like, yeah, that was like, and so I know I've had times where when I was working on the smooth jazz stuff, I'll send a track over to a bass player and he'll get it back to me 2 weeks later, or I'll send it over to somebody. He'll give me that track, that drum track 3 weeks later. And I was like, see that's why songs take so long. Because
Mhm.
it's not about you. It's that the energies that you're trying to use to help you finish a project, now you're on somebody else's schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, let me, this one, once I figured out that I needed to do it internally, I had to sit down, whether it means getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, it meant that I had to do that. So that was my whole thing. It's like, well, let me finish this, let me finish this project, no matter what it took. The wife was, I had to clear it with everybody. Look, when the door's closed, when it's closed, I'm done. So, but yeah, it was good. It was good. It was rewarding. And when I finally finished, I was like, okay, I need to take some time off because I got to regroup.
Mhm.
So, but it was a project that was worth doing.
Yeah.
Definitely worth doing.
Well, I had a chance to listen on the link, that YouTube link you sent me, like early week, when me and you first made the connection for you to come on, and
Yes.
when I fired it up, I was just like, oh yeah, because I could, I felt it, man. I definitely did,
Yeah.
I listen to each song because it's like what nine? It's 9 tracks on there.
9 songs.
Yeah.
I had actually wrote 10, and I was like, uh, I'm just gonna hold. I just for whatever reason I held the number 10, and it was just something in me said, don't do this one yet. So I don't know what God is gonna plan on me doing another album, number 2 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I definitely held on to that number 10 song, and I let my drummer hear it. He was like, "How come you didn't put that one on there?" I was like, "It's it's next." So, but yeah, it's actually 10 songs, but 9 songs on the album.
Nice. Yeah. Very, very nice. Now, I know Von's going to ask you a lot here in a bit, but I wanted to ask real quick. Are you still working with Ronnie? Are you still working with Ronnie Moss?
Ronnie Moss?
Yeah.
You know what? He's so busy because, they had 2 albums out at the same time, Spinners. They had 2 albums out at the same time.
Yeah.
And they were booked. I think he's only had maybe out of all last year, he maybe only had 2 or 3 weeks off, And so we talk weekly, and I told myself as soon as we sit down, I can finish because I got a couple of songs for him.
Yeah.
But so we definitely gonna do another album.
Nice. Yeah, it's always good to hear you guys when y'all get together.
Yeah, I've got projects on 3 or 4 people right now. Anya Garvey.
Oh yeah, Anya. Yeah.
Right, Anya. Let's see, we got. I've got Yaya Diamond, which is Evelyn's Thomas' daughter. She's the song that I wrote for her and produced. It's danceable. As soon as you put it on, it's just dance. Right. So I got that. Who else I've got? Oh, I got some songs that's not ready yet, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see who they're gonna go to. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do. You know how we just write and put it to the side and see who fits what.
Awesome. Vaughn?
I'm curious about your upbringing in Chicago, and because who were your influences as a young man? What was the age that you started actually, playing? I'm from Chicago. I'm from the projects of Chicago, so we couldn't afford a lot. I'm from the IDB Wells project. Okay.
And so I always wanted to get to. My cousin had a guitar, and my neighbor had guitars, and I was like, we couldn't afford. My mom couldn't afford to get me one, so she says, well, in order for you to get one, you have to take on a summer job, and you take your check, and you go to the pawn shop and get you a guitar, whatever. And so once I did that, and so I was just telling the kids, I was in my room, 10, 11, 12 hours in there playing on that guitar, So by the time I got to high school, I had already taught myself how to read music. I taught myself how to play this daggone guitar, and and so when I got to high school, I immediately joined the high school jazz band.
Okay.
And we did that, and from there, my influence was, I loved everybody that played guitar, B.B. King to Sam, B.B. King to Santana to Hendrix to all those. I just wanted to be so versatile. I didn't want it. That was probably part of a problem that I had, because my influences of playing, I would jump in and out of from blues to jazz to a rock scene and whatever. So people really, because at certain times of your career, you have to be in a box in order to fit in this particular genre,
Yeah.
Right.
And so I didn't fit in a box because I would always play outside that box, And then my high school band teacher, Mr. Pickett, he said, was like, you know what, it's cool. you're doing what music is, that's what music is. It's not box, especially jazz. It's not box.
Yeah.
You know. So you take that, you take Miles Davis, you take all the people that played outside the box, you know, on the thing. So it's like, okay, so give people a chance to pick and choose what they like. Whatever they like, that's what they're gonna listen to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But don't let that put you in the box. Be able to play all these different genres of music. So I played, you know, I was in in California, I was in 3 Hispanic Latino bands. I couldn't even speak Spanish. I was playing, you know, I'm playing bandas and all kind of parties, you know.
Right.
You know, but it was like when it all boils down to it, it's music.
That it is.
You know, 12 notes, whatever notes you gonna play, I'm gonna find it on this guitar. You know,
no doubt. Yeah.
Definitely a universal language, isn't it?
The universal language, exactly.
Yeah. So when you made it, when did you actually make that transition to going to Cali, you know, and working there? Were you primarily in a session musician mode, or were you doing any like solo efforts and stuff like that?
I was, let's see. After I played with Shy Lights, I played with Tyrone Davis, I played with Coco Taylor. So after I played with the numerous artists in Chicago, it's like, you know, it's like almost a thing where you have to play with all these people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? So after that, then I packed up everything. We moved to California. So when we moved to California, my first job in California, I was working with Interscope, right?
Interscope, okay.
Right. So I did. I played guitar on Young MC's his first album, and then
is that the one he won the Grammy on?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a whole thing. It's like when you work like I did from that point, you know, and basically you're gun for hire. Basically, that's what you are.
Yeah.
So when I did that, I received my check, which was $250, right? And I was like, I should keep that, you know, because that check, no matter how many millions of dollars they made off of that album, only thing I received was that check. I did not own the rights to any of those things that I played.
Right.
So no Grammy, no nothing, no recognition, none of those things.
Right.
So that basically taught me, do your own thing, write your own stuff. Do your, you know, don't ever let somebody have that much control of what you play and what you do. You know, what I did for them, I recorded. You remember the DATs, so. I recorded like 2 hours of guitar stuff on that.
Okay.
Right? And so that's what they paid me for. So they had me on that they can take, put it in the sampler, flip it, whip it, do whatever they need to do to it.
Everything
they can have 1 million tracks if they wanted.
Yeah.
And then nothing I can do about it because it was like, that's what I agreed to.
Right.
But it's like lessons we learn.
The lessons we learn.
As we grow.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like those are things that you look at and say, well, I did that. I do understand I have that, but I could never ever do that again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So after you did the Young MC, how did you see a lot more work coming to you at that time?
Well, but after I did that, you know, then LA, you remember that was the whole part of LA, start acting up. You got Suge Knight, you got all the so I moved, and I moved down more Palm Springs area.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah,
so when I moved
was out in the desert at that point.
Right, exactly. So when I moved to Palm Springs area, I connected with one of the smooth jazz promoters was a disc jockey down there too, Jim Fitzgerald. So he booked me and my keyboard player. He booked us like 7 days a week. So
wow.
now I'm working like doubles. I'm working. I'm doing 150,000 a year. I'm doing, so it's like that was like, okay, now I'm living. I'm I don't have to hustle. So yeah, it was really really cool. During that period. But like everything else, everything, even the desert dries up sometimes. So when it did, it was like, okay, so now what?
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
it was. I did find myself getting out of the LA circuit, going east, going into the desert, and they had a whole thing down there. People starving for music. Down there.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
When did you venture off into this? What time period was it? What decade? The smooth jazz.
Oh, probably early 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, early 2000, and then probably around 2010, 2009, 2010, I think I did my first smooth jazz CD, and started getting familiar with the DJs,
Right.
and really found out how hard it was to get music played here in the States. You know, I found it really, very, really difficult, even though I knew some DJs, and even though they would play it on their late night show or something like that, they would still have to go through their program director and in order to get that early spot.
Right.
Or the program director would ask me. I mean, I did a song with a group I put together called Triad, and it came out the same time Luther Vandross came out with one of his songs, and so we went to JLH or something like that, something, and the DJ says, he says, so I got this Luther Vandross record just came in, and you guys just bought me your record. I get $10,000 a month from Luther Vandross people. So what kind of money are you talking about? And me and my guy were like, we aren't talking about no money. We just bringing it. He said, no. He said, I got 3 minutes to play. It's either going to be the Luther Vandross or it's going to be you guys. Now, which one is it going to be? I looked around. I was like, I guess it's going to be the Luther Vandross one because we don't have no money,
Right.
And so that's just how that went. I was like, okay.
Yeah, wow.
Huh.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. That's all I got to say to that.
I was like,
My
just to hear it in
goodness.
front of, just to hear somebody say that in front of you,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
after all the hard work you just done to,
Mhm.
get everything done there. It's like, wow, to hear somebody tell you that, okay, so now, you don't have no money, but you expect us to play this?
Hmm.
We got millions of people that's going to listen to this. You expect us to do that?
Wow.
Okay, I got you. Now I understand how the business works,
Right.
Mhm.
So, and it was so different when I start doing the UK stuff. I never had nobody ever come to me about no money. Never,
Mhm.
ever. And I've had gazillions of DJs, hey John, I heard you got a new song out, da da da. Can we get it? Okay,
Mhm.
okay. It was
Yeah.
like something
used-
about the U.S. There was something going on here in the U.S. where
Yeah.
pay to play was just never. I guess it never died, but
No, payola never died, man.
you know,
Payola never died.
wow,
They had that restriction from the federal government that they couldn't
Right.
do it.
right.
All that takes place under the table was happening. Still didn't stop it.
It was. I mean, I saw it with my own eyes. I was like,
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
It was
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah. Very
Yeah.
man.
And So that's and it's the business, and unfortunately, I hate to see artists suffer the worst behind it.
Right. Right.
Because the work y'all put in is like priceless. It really is.
Yeah. You think about it, it's like, wow, so you want to get paid so you can play my song. You want me to pay you so you can play my song. But if you didn't have my song or people like me, you wouldn't really have a job. So, well, how does this work?
You said it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So it's each hand has to wash the other hand.
Right.
You can't, it's like somebody needs, and I think the UK has it in a way where they understand it. Donations is cool, and I don't mind that. Sponsorship is cool. I don't mind that either.
Right.
But if you asking me to flat out, like I had a smooth jazz lady contact me, and she was like, "Yeah, I love your album. This was the smooth jazz album. I love your album, and I like to promote it." And I'm going, "Yes, finally somebody." And so she says, "Yeah, I send you a contract." And I'm reading over the contract, and I get to this part where it says, well, it's $11,000 for the album. It's $450 a week for the single. So, first of all, I'm thinking, so she's paying me, right? She must gonna pay me.
Yeah, right. I would get that impression too.
Right.
So when she calls me, she says, "Okay, did you read the contract?" I said, "Yes, I did." She said, "Are you going to sign it?" I said, "Wait, explain this part to me." So she went by each one. She said, "No, $11,000 for 6 weeks. We're going to promote that album. $450 per week for the single. It takes about 6 weeks to promote each song that have to do a single." And I was like, who can afford that? I can't afford that.
No.
It's outrageous. I can't afford that. And she said, "Well, I can get you on Billboard, and I can get you on." I mean, yeah, that sounds great, and that's lovely, but I can't afford this kind of money. We're talking, in 6 weeks' time for me to give you $11,000, and that's all it's gonna last. It's gonna last 6 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
It is crazy. Because I was
I'd like to know the person. I want to know the person that's giving $11,000 every 6 weeks. I want to know who you are.
I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, because it gets me about those radio promoters out there. I don't know how many of them out there now, but I know a lot of them do charge just ridiculous to even do a campaign with them, and some people do spend the money. I guess they got the money, but I know I don't have that kind of money.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, even if you got good stuff, it was like, if I got to go that route, then nobody's going to hear this, because
that's right. That's what it boils down to. Yeah.
And I was always wishing and hoping that somebody can break through. Somebody breaks through and says, "Okay, I'm not going to charge you $11,000, but I'll charge you $1,000 for 6 weeks." I can do that. I can do that. But I understand that each radio station, and I really don't know the facts of that, but I think each they got to pay off certain people to do whatever, and that's just insane to me, because in order for like this one guy told me, he says, "Well, John, we get 3,000 or 4,000 CDs in, within the month, so how are we supposed to choose your song, put your song on here versus that?" And I'm like, well, you do like everybody else do. You let the people judge that. You shouldn't be the judge and the jury too. You can't be both.
Right.
That's
what they're missing.
Right.
I can only say that's the era when corporations started taking over for radio stations.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, you know, they saw the writing on the wall, and they said, you know, who's going to be the hungriest? It's going to be the artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so they're going to go to the whatever lengths they need to go in order to get their music played. Who else can they come to but us?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That
is true.
And that's exploitation to the ninth degree. You know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. They know that there's a lot of cats like us. I'm pretty much older now, and I'm not as hungry as I was. You know,
Right.
but there's a lot of cats that's hungry.
Yeah.
You know, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to get that thing. You know, I know people that has number one songs that has had number one songs on Billboard, and they still hustling gigs.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go from having a number one song, from everything that we grew up trying to understand, is that once you get a number one song on Billboard, this is what we grew up listening to, is that, oh, I'm pretty much gonna make it.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
That's what you think. But those people are still working their 9 to 5. They still doing their weekend warrior gigs, you know.
Yep.
Like, wow.
I call them chart chasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, chart chasing sounds like that's what they're doing.
That's about right. That's about right. And you're never gonna get the gist of it, because it's like, I don't want to play that game. That's a game you know. Why play that game? You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to play that game.
That's right.
You just have to find a new game to play.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I said, when I found the UK, like I probably got maybe 500 DJs that plays my stuff in the UK.
Yeah.
You know. And once I found that and locked into that, that's a given anytime now. It's like whatever album I'm gonna do, I already know I'm gonna get airplay, because they already know the quality of my work.
Right, like it should
I don't
be.
have to, you know. So I don't want to have to beg somebody or pay somebody to put me on your chart or whatever. To me, the chart is not that important.
It's really not.
You know. When you think about it, when you actually sit down and think about it, it's like, how many people actually watch the charts?
Yeah.
That is so true.
You know,
I don't. You know, I see the formulas that they use and all that kind of stuff, but to me, it's like that's you're just being subjective. You know.
Right.
How do you know? What makes you think? Oh, I'm fixing to get on my soapbox. Excuse me.
Right, no, because you know
what makes you think that you have the ability to judge what? How do you do that?
How do you know it?
Because the musicians aren't trying to compete with each other.
Right.
You know,
right.
they do it because they love what they're doing.
The love of the music.
It's the love of the art form. They're not trying to compete. I don't understand. How do you? You know, that's also subjective.
Right. Right.
So, in the long run, you know, I'm thinking like, look, I have to say, when I moved here, you know, moving from LA to Atlanta, I left behind, you know, some of the radio stations I considered like they were like innovators as far as programming is concerned. So I was listening to Stevie Wonder had a radio station in LA at the time called KGLH. You know? And so they were kind of like revolutionary because they were mixing in R&B and soul and jazz, and we're talking about some classic stuff like Miles or Train. All of that was mixed in, you know, and that was prior to the term Quiet Storm.
Yes.
Right.
But WHUR in DC was doing the same thing.
Right.
You know, and they kind of rode that wagon, you know, till the wheels fell off, because then it hit New York with WBLS and a lot of other stations, like I think Detroit had WJZZ, you know, and then you had KJLH doing it in LA, you had KACE doing it in LA, you even had KKGO, which was the 24-hour jazz station that had history in LA. They started doing it, but yet still, they still respected the music, you know.
Right.
And you had cats at that radio station been there 30, 40 years, you know.
Right.
So the whole thing to me, so I'm like, and they never had a chart. They didn't even do it, back
Right,
then.
Right.
right.
And so the stations themselves weren't charting anything. They just loved what they were listening to.
They play
And
what you
respected
love.
the
Play what
artists
you
and the
love.
music.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, yeah, I'm following that old school method, me, because I just, I think it's just ridiculous that, somebody should hold the position like I'm the arbiter of who's the best.
Right. Right.
Makes no sense to me at all.
Right.
But
exactly.
let me step up on my soapbox. Because I just find it to be, just idiotic, but,
Yeah. It's the same, it's the same old song, you remember back in the day, Frankie Crocker and all those people got all in trouble and everything. It's like, wow, it didn't die. It just
yeah. It just kind of went undercover for a minute, and it just started working its magic, behind the scenes,
Yeah.
But hopefully, and then when I moved here, I came across another college radio station, and it's like I love what WCLK is doing at Clark.
Now, see, I'm being played there.
Awesome.
Jamal
awesome.
is playing there.
That's great.
Cool.
That's great.
These some great cats. It's like I didn't have to ask. I didn't have to send no money. It's like, certain people understands what it takes as a musician.
Yes. Yes.
That love and that all that energy and all, even money wise, what you put in. We put in gazillions of dollars before we even see anything. So when you make a project, that project that wasn't free. That project cost you money just to get it published. That project cost you money just to get it. Something as simple as CD Baby, that's still going to cost you money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no, and then the Lord have mercy. Let's not even talk about streaming.
I know.
That's what you get back.
Oh my goodness, I know, it's terrible.
I looked at that thing and it says, okay, so you're over the 10,000 streaming thing, and I'm looking at, so how much? My wife was saying, well, how much you get for that? Well, you really don't want to ask me.
Yeah, that's like a cartoon right there.
Oh my God!
It's like a cartoon.
Really
you get 300,000 spins, and you get what, 3 cents back?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Out of this world.
That is nuts.
It is.
And the only good thing about that whole thing is that it's not just us. It's everybody. All the big winners, all the people that used to make millions of dollars on record. Now you got 1 million streams, you got 1 million people listening to your stuff, but you still ended up with the same $50 that I ended up with. So it's not. When I heard Snoop Dogg and Ice-T and them complaining, I was like, oh my, there is a God.
Yeah.
It was like, because I was feeling like, man, how could they do us like this? What are they doing to these big guys? Are they paying them big money? And when they start complaining, I was like, oh no, they paying them the same thing they paying us.
Yeah.
So I got it. I understand. It's a game.
It's a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game. And you're talking about Silicon Valley now. That's the boys up there.
Oh,
who have no clue what music is.
No clue at all.
They don't even care.
They say that guy that built Spotify, they said this guy has made billions of dollars over and over and over again. Off of your money, off of your record.
It is incredible.
It is.
But thank goodness for the UK, and independent radio stations, and really the internet, really.
Yes, exactly.
Because we're not, that's not what we do. That's
right.
not what we do.
Exactly. So,
we know, Gary and I and a few other people that I know, we know what you guys go through, man. We know.
Yeah.
And I claimed my musicianship back in high school and junior high school. I was a trombone player, and I was, I was just amazed at, being able to read music and be able to play it, and honor the composers that we played.
Exactly.
That's the thing right there, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's where you get your reward from, right there. All through high school, I was like, man, I'm playing Miles. I'm actually playing Miles Davis. I'm playing. Really? That's, I can go home now. I can go home and tell my mom, all those songs that you listen to on the stereo, I'm playing that now.
Yeah.
That's a reward.
Yeah.
And you don't get it. I to this day, here it is 50 years later, and I remember every step of Milestones. I remember playing, Freddie, Freeloader Freddie. So it's like all those songs, I remember those songs.
Right.
You don't forget them. You take them with you.
You just don't,
part of your journey.
Right.
So, yes, indeed.
That is true.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, and so the first release that you're promoting off of the album is Strapped. Is that the one?
Strapped. Strapped.
Yeah, man. Tell us about that one. I think I got the YouTube thing pulled up here. I think I can let people check it out for a minute.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, Trap kind of came to me. I don't know if people like myself, but sometimes I have these crazy dreams, and Trap came to me like a dream of. I must have been watching something scary at night before I went to bed, but I for some reason I felt like I was being pulled out of my bed, and I was being pulled into this wall, and I'm sure it was a dream, but my wife stopped me because I was going to the edge of the bed,
My goodness.
She called my name and pulled me back, and I was like, oh wow, that was crazy, and all I could think of was like I was trapped in something. I was like, okay, I have to write about that. I'm gonna write about. So I had the lyrics before I had the music. I had the lyrics to that song way before I even thought about a Curtis Mayfield anything.
Wow.
And so when I started thinking about the Curtis Mayfield thing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put those lyrics, because I got a drawer or a theme case that I keep extra lyrics and stuff in. So I'm gonna just pull those lyrics out because I feel that's gonna be okay for right now, And once I started putting the music on it, I was like, oh, that's gonna work. So, but yeah, that's how it came. It's kind of crazy, but that's how it came.
That's cool, though. Yeah. Get inspired in all kinds of ways, don't we?
Dreams, man. Dreams. They say a lot of people don't take dreams serious, but when you do take a dream serious, you have to recognize that was part of your out-of-body experience. That was part of that. So when you understand that, that's part of how that comes out of you, so some kind of way.
Yeah.
So, that was.
It's very cool.
That's how we got there.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and we'll take a quick music break and let people hear it, and then we'll come back and talk some more with the guest, Mr. John Carey, in the house, y'all. So we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Right, man. That was nice, John. Like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
They try to get my Curtis on, man.
You did. You did, my brother. It sounds really good. Really, really good. Definitely. Yeah. So, yeah, man. So are you still doing some performing and stuff? Have you had a chance
Yeah,
to perform some of the new stuff yet?
yeah. I'm kind of holding off on the new stuff until 2025,
Mm-hmm.
and so once we do my first show, 2025 is St. James. Um, so out here, we expect a full house because this will be the first time we doing the whole tribute of Curtis Mayfield. So, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, because St. James, they have a pretty good following. The crowd just loves every, and I think Lori Williams has a lot to do with booking.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
She called me. She was like, so Mr. and Mrs. St. James would like to have you do that Curtis Mayfield show. And I was like, okay, so when? She was like, oh, soon, like January the 19th. I was like, okay,
Perfect.
okay. I was like, okay, well, you got it. You got it.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I hope it.
Yeah, and she's a great artist within her own
Lori is
right.
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, now her daughter's great singer too.
Wow,
I was like, whew,
great.
that just runs in the family right there. Yeah.
Yeah, she's done well since she's come down here to do her thing and perform and help out the folks at St. James. She's doing all right.
She's done very well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, done great.
Yeah.
Great. I consider her a good friend of mine. It's cool. In this business, it's so competitive in certain areas, so you don't really get good friends, and like you say, okay, well, that's my friend right there, not my, not my competition,
Right.
So,
I have to agree with you because I think for the most part, you don't find competition amongst a lot of the musicians in smooth jazz or jazz period, or when it comes down. Now, I wouldn't say R&B has that as well. They kind of support each other and stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of non-existent.
Yeah. I think it had its time. I think it had its time where you going out. I remember going out with my uncle, and he'd be like, I said, "Where we going?" And we always he was a drummer, so he like pick me up and we go here. I said, "Where we going this week?" He's like, "Well, we're gonna go cut some heads this week." I was like, "Cut some heads." There's that old folks.
Old school.
They going out to the
Yeah, that would be them jam sessions. That's when you do a lot of
sessions right there. Yeah, that was it. That was it. Especially Chicago. Chicago was really, every corner there was a liquor store next to a bar, or down the street of the church. So it's like all those places kind of stick together. So when you play at the club, it's a jam session. If anybody can come in off the street, they're gonna ask you, can they sit in? And that's gonna be that.
That's gonna be. Right.
If you can't play, they're gonna let you know that you can't play.
Yeah.
They're gonna let you know. So you gotta be very careful. Very careful when you actually.
Yeah.
Enter at your own risk.
At your own risk, man. At your own risk. Yeah. Yeah, that was something.
And, I was thinking, because we had trying to think who we were interviewing, who was from Chicago. Was it Romley? Gary?
It might have been. I'm not quite sure.
I think it might have been him.
Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Romley? Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now that's CTK's mentor.
We grew up right around the same area.
Is that right? Oh, CTK would have loved that.
He sure would have.
Because he says Rom Lee does what does he call it? Drive by.
Yeah, he always call them up
calls.
and do a drive by, play like some riffs on them.
And he messes CTK up for about a week.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all grew up in the same area, man.
Yeah, we were, I had a great conversation with. We were talking about Tom 84.
Oh yeah. Oh my.
Yeah, and his impact. And I kept saying, I remember when I was in high school, a friend of mine who was in the band, we were both, he played trumpet, piano. That dude's name was Zach Morrison, and you're talking about multi-instrumentalist at 17, 18 years old. He was incredible. And I used to go to his house, and we used to sit in front of them tall speakers that we had back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Things looked like, about 4 or 5 feet tall.
Exactly.
And he entered. I didn't know what he was doing because he said, "Just sit here between the speakers and listen." We used to listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire back then.
Yes.
And so we listened to this, and he said, "You hear that? You hear that? And you hear that thing sound like bells?"
Right.
And he said, "That's a what does he call it? I can't think of the bells. No, it's like the pipes. They look like pipes.
Oh.
And
tubular bells, yeah.
Yeah, and tubular bells. And he said, "What black band does that?"
Right.
And that was, he taught me how to listen, and he trained my ear.
Yeah.
And I never knew what he was doing, but he was training my
He was training your ear, right.
And so, from that point, Glockenspiel, that's what it was.
Yeah, Glockenspiel.
Glockenspiel.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know where he's getting these ideas.
Right, exactly.
And Maurice was just taking it to a whole nother level, man.
Exactly.
And we were like, and at the time, we were playing their music. We was playing Isaac Hayes' music, We were doing all that stuff back then,
Yeah. Well, that was a good thing about this Curtis Mayfield thing is because before I even started to write musically any song for the album, I listened over and over and over and over to his whole discography. I listened to pretty much every song that Curtis had.
Right.
That and he's got over 500 songs that was pretty much out there. You know, and it's like listening to him over and over and over, just writing down the instrumentation that he used on this and he used on that, and I was like, wow, this is unheard of for a black man to come up with. I'm going to use this here and I'm going to use this here. It's not just based on, I'm listening to the guitar parts. There's 3 guitars on each song on the soundtrack. 3 guitar things going on.
Yeah.
Right. And so like you're listening back and back. So even at that time in the 70s, there was no computer. So there was not about let's track it on the computer or whatever.
Right.
So they had they had the big studio in Chicago they used that had the 24 track, machine. But you still, even with that, you still had to have tracks left over for the orchestration. So that was the stuff they brought in last. They didn't do the orchestration at the same time like a lot of people do now.
Yeah.
So they would finish all the rhythm stuff and all the horn stuff, then they bring in the Chicago Symphony Orchestra or somebody. I was, my God, you listen to it over and over. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The musicianship, the cat that sat down and wrote each note out. That guy, he deserves the award and the reward. It's like that was a job, and we listen to it now. It's like, wow, as musicians,
Yes.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Chicago's impact on the culture of music in America was extremely just as influential as Detroit, no doubt.
Yes.
And then you had Stax in Memphis. The stuff out of Muscle Shoals.
Right. You think that if you take black music out of the picture,
Right.
you know, and I'm saying black music because we very seldom get that notice that
that notoriety. Yeah,
right,
notoriety.
that we brought something to the party.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we brought something to the party. Whether it's you listen to these cats that play blues now. No, if it wasn't for Muddy Waters and Johnny Hooker and people like that I used to see sitting on the front porch, I never knew these guys was famous. You know, I used to go on my way to going to school. You know, 9, 10 years old. I would go past Muddy Waters' house, and Muddy Waters is sitting, him and Johnny Hooker and whoever else that's sitting there drinking their wine, whatever. And I didn't know they was famous because I just thought I remember coming back telling my mom, man, she said, what took you so long? I said, I was standing out there watching these old drunk men playing guitar and singing the blues, and I didn't know they was famous until I got older. And then to go to the record store and you see their albums, I was like, that's the same guy.
Isn't that
I was sitting on the porch.
Wow.
Wow. That is something.
Yeah. Woo.
That is something, man. It's like,
And that,
wow.
that makes it gives you chills, don't it? Just thinking
It
about
does.
it, man.
It does. Because the thing is, you don't know. It's the things that we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know. Nobody really expressed that. You know, nobody's even taught you that guy is famous. That guy, even though my mother used to sing background for the Esther Phillips, right? So
Wow.
she did some of the Verve records and stuff with them. But that the people that she knew at that time, I would always say, wow, you know, because I'll go back and listen to the old records and stuff, you know. But the average everyday Joe person, you know, 12, 15, 13, they wouldn't know that these people are famous, you know. So it's like that stuff needs to be taught. It needs to be taught in school.
Yeah, that is true.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Yes, indeed.
No doubt.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, but yeah, been there, you know, still at it after all these years, Gary, huh?
I know, right? Yes.
Still at it, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Tell people it's in your blood. You can't. What you gonna do? You can't stop. You can't stop playing. You can't stop. You know.
Stop playing.
You know, it's part of who you are. It's part of your makeup.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they say it, part of the fabric.
Or part of the fabric. I was just telling you, we had some younger people in this room that I just did a luncheon with, and I was telling them, okay, so how many people really got it in their system now? And I said, okay, well, remember that's a lifetime. So you come to the part of where you've gone too far to turn back.
Yeah.
You know, you can't turn back. Music is the second language of who you are every single day. You're not going to get through a day without hearing music in some form or fashion.
Yes.
It's every day, no matter, even if you tried, somewhere along that 24 hours, you're going to hear music. You know, and so it's like, you gotta have it. And you know, for us as writers, it's everything. It's, you know, it's just like breathing. You have to, you know, one of the guys was saying, you know, it's just like brushing your teeth. You wake up, you brush your teeth. Okay, that's part of it. It's the same thing. Same feeling you get. You know.
Sure enough. Very good. Yes, indeed.
Well, John, I got to ask you.
Yes.
Your views on Quincy Jones.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I respect him for what he did for the industry. Okay. I respect him for his musical things that was in. He's brilliant. His brain was brilliant as far as even at a younger age, he was in there writing charts for Frank Sinatra and all those people, right? So I got to give him that much respect. right?
Right.
I think what the caught up is, because I read a lot, and
Sure.
so some of the things that I read about him I didn't like.
Right.
Even in his own autobiography, I read that, you know. Um, but some things that I read from other people that had wrote things about him that was you would look at him in a different light,
Right.
you know. But even through all of that, that doesn't lessen my respect for him as a musician
Right.
and as a person that broke some barriers for Black people in music wise, and you know, because you know it's hard enough for us to get across, but it's harder for them to look at you as a writer, as a person that writes composition, a person that writes, you know, music to movies and soundtracks and all. So that door wasn't open for Black people. That door was only open for a certain amount of people, and they call them every time. Every time they want to use music in a movie, they call these X amount of people.
Yeah.
So he was part of that thing that helped break that door down. He did Sanford and Son and different things like that. So and like I said, I respect that, and that can never be taken away of. But just like us, we have to be very careful of the people we associate ourselves with being in this business, because this business has, you know, those doors. And there's certain doors going to get you in certain places, and there's another door going to get you over here. And then there's another door that's saying, just let me chill out where I'm at, because let me be satisfied with this $1 million. Then there's a door that says, no, you can have $10 million if you just only go through this door. Now, when you go through that door and collect that $10 million, there's a price you have to pay for that $10 million.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so when you decide that's what you want to do, then that that right there within itself is you taking that next step, and you not just you personally, you taking that next step with everything that you own.
Right.
Everything. So now you, whatever it is to be judged on, you're going to be judged on that next step. That's pretty much what you've done before that step. So you have to understand that every door is not meant for you to open up. You know, and I look at it like that. When I was working with Interscope, I knew there was some things I could have done that I could have got to another level. But when I thought about it over and over and over, and saying to myself, no, my mom and them nobody would approve of that. You know, I'm not even that kind of person. You know, that's not in my makeup. And no, even though I came from the project, I'm not a project. I don't look at me as a project kid. I was raised in the project, but I wasn't raised by the project.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's different kind of ways, and I knew that I couldn't do that. So when you accept that, you know, and there's people, you know, they just, and I think he was, you know, one of those ones. Even people that, you know, Michael and all those people that they on that other level, you know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, in order to be on that other level, there's things you got to do. You can't just if it was that easy to be on that other level, then everybody would have been there.
Yeah. I agree with that so much. Yeah.
So I like I said, I can commend him for everything that he wrote, everything that he did to help other Black people get to that point. Man, it came with a price.
Yeah.
It came with a price. People don't. I saw him at NAMM last year, and he was in a wheelchair. He was being wheeled out the door. And I said, "What's up, Q?" You know, because I met his son. I don't know his son, but I met his son. And I was at Carlos and Charlie's back in the day, and they was doing the ASCAP songwriter showcase. And so I had met his son there. But it's like even the things on a small level, there was doors to go through, you know, and it was like just to get somebody to listen to your song, there was a door you had to agree to, and it was like, this is nuts. You know, this is not. It's not based on, are you a good writer? Are you a good singer? No, there's a door. What are you willing to do for this in this door?
It's crazy,
You know,
isn't it? And it's
so,
a shame too.
so it's so, you know, but like they said, if everybody could do it, everybody would have done it. You know,
Right.
so we were always sitting around looking at each other as millionaires, billionaires, right? So there's, you know, we have morals. There's people with, I have morals. I'm like, I know I got kids, I got girls. You know, it's like, no, you know, certain things I'm just not going to do.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, so and
Yeah.
it's like, wow. So yeah, I think that the coming out, as my wife calls it, the coming out party is this here P Diddy thing. That's going to be the coming out party, because those that did, now you got to pay to the pipe.
You got to pay the piper. Yeah.
Boy, that's a good. Yep. That's it.
You know?
Years ago, I heard the scripture, "What is the profit of man to gain the whole world?"
Yes, exactly. We just did exactly.
It's like, it ain't worth it at all.
No.
It ain't worth it, man. When you sit back and you think about it, do you really want? That's when I see these rappers. That's what when I get out of Interscope, and I just laugh. I just pretty much laugh. You know, it's like, I'm done with it. I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing my people, my black young men, every other word is a curse word. And you putting it on record. So now you delivering that to all these other people. And so now when they think of us, that's how they think of us. When I went to Japan, oh my God, when I went to Japan, that's how they look at us. They look at us as what they just heard on radio or TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I went there in the middle of the MTV craze, you know, 92, 93, right? And so when they looked at us, they was like, they thought, even though we're totally different, they thought we were like Run DMC or somebody, you know, or whoever, you know. They didn't look at us as who we were, you know. It's like, this is crazy.
The assumptions.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just because that's who we portrayed ourselves as this thing, you know. And when you see us, we're gonna be hostile. We're gonna be this, and we're gonna have women and cars and guns, and you know, it's like, we're really not like that. We're not. We're a group of people that's not even like that. But all it takes is if you pick 10 out of 100 and you give them all cars and guns and everything, that's the 10 that's going to be multiplied. It's going to be advertised and on television. You know, I used to hate it when there's a fire and the newspaper go to all those people that's sitting there watching the fire. They go to the drunk guy that's sitting over there, and they ask him, do you know, oh, wait a minute, where are all these educated people sitting over here watching the fire too?
Yeah, but they don't want to hear from them.
They don't want to hear from them.
Right.
Because it's an image they trying to portray, like, okay. So we have to really, in order to shape whatever generations we got next, you know, we have to figure some kind of way, you know. It's like, wow, that's why I'm telling them, I'm here because I believe in each one, teach one.
Right.
And it's not necessarily, I don't have to teach you music. If I can teach you something that's right, instead of something you've been doing wrong with, if I can teach you another way of doing it and doing it right, I've won that. I've got that. I gave you that lesson. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, wow. I mean, because I had good teachers, even though where I came from, I still had good teachers.
Right.
You know. But it's like, I commend them. I commend them for what they've done in my life, and the rest and my uncle that did the right thing in my life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because coming from the projects, I could have been just like, just like the rest of them. So it's like, no, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You have to pick and choose. You have to
Mm-hmm.
pick and choose what kind of lifestyle you want to have.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
So,
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah. All right.
yeah. Alrighty, brother.
Well, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap things up for today, but I want you
Man,
to.
I'm sorry I done talked y'all ears off today,
No,
huh?
man.
No,
Look,
no.
don't never look at it like that, bro.
This is
Look,
the whole point. We gotta have
this
this
is the
come
whole
on.
point.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
about you. But
Because you know what? I'm like this.
Mhm.
Artists need to be heard. That's just me.
Yeah, I
That's just
agree.
me. I think
I agree.
musicians need to be heard because
Yeah.
the art. I think it was. I think John Kennedy said this years ago, and of course, I was just an infant back then. But the fact of the matter is, I know in the speech he made talking about what the artist's job is to reflect society. Reflect
Yes.
the art reflects what society's space looks like.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
And it gives them a mirror, holds a mirror up to society,
yeah.
and lets it look at itself.
Right.
So
Right.
I always think that your voice is just as important as anybody else's because you look
Yeah.
at the world in a whole different perspective.
Yes. 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 And that's why just to go back to the Curtis Mayfield, this guy was way ahead
Of
he
his
was
time.
ahead, but he was still in the middle of what was going on.
Yeah.
That is so weird that everything that when I listen back to each song,
Mhm.
it's everything that was, and it's everything that is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's so deep when you listen. I had to go each lyric, each word by word, each sentence. It's like this guy was really deep. Just to do the songs that he's just to sing the songs that he's singing, and the just the subject, just the subject matter. People wouldn't write. They would shy away from pimps and all kind of stuff. But pimps and all kind of stuff was stuff that was actually in the street for real.
Mhm.
It wasn't about something fantasy. This was
Yeah.
real.
Right.
Detroit had it,
Right,
Chicago had it,
right.
New York had it, California had it. So we all had it.
Mhm.
And he just took it and said, let me put this on paper.
Yeah.
Let me write about, I want to write about love and I want to write about, this, but right now I need to write about this because this is real. This is happening today,
Mhm.
So when you listen to my album, I took that same avenue that he took and I said, well, let me write about what he wrote about because that is still working. That's still going on.
Mhm.
And if I can reach people like he did,
Mhm.
then I'm good. I'm okay with it. Even if it doesn't
absolutely.
sell one copy. If you can hear it and you can hear the resemblance of what I am portraying of his lifestyle, and where it was and where it is, then
Mhm.
that solves my whole day. That solves everything that I tried to go for.
Oh, no doubt.
So when you guys listen to the album, man, it's like, listen to the whole album. There's a song on there called "Little Boy Blue," and it has that whole thing of where the kid wanted to be a musician, but they living in a projects or the ghetto and all that, and he can't even find a place to practice. So and he's blowing horn, so it's like,
Mhm.
so that was just my addition on what we all heard the nursery rhyme "Little Boy Blue," but I took it as a metaphor for is okay, this is what they really meant for us, for me as a
Wow.
kid growing up in the project. This is what he was thinking about.
Yeah.
So some
That is
there's
so
some
cool.
intentional things on there that you can listen to.
And you know what? I don't know the history behind Curtis when when he left this earth. Was he a young man or was he older? when he?
No, he was when he started. Right when he got and when he started with the Impression. The Impression was already another group, but under another name.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so when he got in, he was about 16.
Okay.
Right. And so when he got in, him and Jerry Butler was real good friends. So when he got in, he got Jerry Butler in. And so now all of a sudden it was 5-member band group at first. So that was the Impressions. And that's the song Jerry Butler did. Curtis, even at 16, he wrote Keep on Pushing, he wrote We're Winner. So even at that early age, he had that thing in his mind that I'm gonna write something that's gonna last.
Yeah.
And so when he wrote He Don't Love You Like I Love You, but Jerry Butler, he wrote that song for Jerry Butler, and Jerry Butler, now all of a sudden Jerry Butler got a big hit.
Yeah.
So Jerry Butler says, "Okay, guys, thank you, but I gotta go." Okay, so
solo artist after that.
Right. Curtis made me a solo artist. Now I gotta go. Okay, so at 21, Curtis Mayfield and Tom, that was the guy's name, Tom something. They connected and made a record label called Curtum Records. Kurt Tom.
Oh.
Kurt Tom.
Yeah.
That's how Curtum got about, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's how he decided to record his own people.
Mm-hmm.
So he went back and got the Impressions. He went back and got this other group, and that's when he did Staple Singers. He did Gladys Knight, Claudine.
Mm-hmm.
So all that stuff started coming together, man. So at an age, at probably about 24, 25, he was already on his way. He was like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he got to in the 70s, when he got the soundtrack to Superfly, he was like, he was like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And he said, somebody came up to him and asked him, "Why are you writing songs about pimps and drug dealers and all kind of stuff?" He said, "I got to do it. I have to do this." You know, because the movie was pretty much being made at around the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So when he finally did it, it was like, and oh gosh, I can't think of the name of the guy that did the movie, that produced the movie. But he said when he heard the soundtrack, he was like, and then he heard the other part that go to the movie. He was blown away, man. He said, I can't believe it came from this guy.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Curtis says that's definitely made an impression on, and I do not pardon the pun.
Yeah.
He was an impressionist on us all. No doubt about that.
Right. And all over the world, man. It's like so weird. Like I say, the DJs that's playing my stuff now, that's all European DJs. That's all.
Yeah.
I got a couple of DJs that's in Africa. Got 2 guys that's playing it in Japan right now. So it's like just the knowledge of Curtis Mayfield. You know, just people know who this guy is, who this guy was. You know, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, so.
Absolutely.
But,
yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
It was a blessing just to get it out of me to do it, you know. And I believe that's not the last of it, you know. I think that's why God gave me the other song. It's like, okay, you're not finished, you know. You're not finished. So on my show, the show that we're going to be doing in 2025, we are doing a lot of Curtis Mayfield songs mixed in with my songs.
Oh, that's big.
So
great.
So we got, I think there's 21 songs of Curtis Mayfield, and then there's my 10 on top of it.
Man.
So it's a good show. It's an hour-and-a-half show, straight through, no break. And I plan on taking this show, you know, some different places, you know. So.
Well, I think for the next 4 years, you'll do well.
I think so. I think so.
I'm considering what this country is going to be like.
Yes, exactly.
4 years.
Exactly.
And you know what? I got to admit, I'm clamoring for protest music. I really am.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I
For
am
sure. I just
clamoring
want to
for
see
protest
who else going
right
to be a
now.
part of who else going to be a part of the solution
Mhm.
versus the problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
It's going to be very relevant.
yes.
Very relevant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly, guys.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm getting my Bill Scott Heron together.
Yes.
You know.
You're gonna need it. You're gonna need
Yeah,
it,
we're
man.
gonna need it. Even I have to go back to Les
The last
McCann
port.
and Eddie Harris.
Eddie Harris,
All
man.
them cats, man.
Yeah, they was already there.
They was already there.
Yeah.
Even Mingus was there. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
Mingus was there back then.
Yeah,
So.
they was there, man. They was there. I used to sit up and listen to the last ports, man. I was like,
Ooh. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That was heavy, you know? Oh, man.
But yeah, man, it's just the time is calling for it.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is weird because we've come so far, but not far enough.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Well, they keep moving the goalposts, man.
They
Like
keep moving
forward,
it.
then
They keep,
50 steps back, come back. It's
They
like,
keep moving the goalposts, and
the
so
closer we get,
yeah,
the closer we get, the further we go back. I was like, okay, something is really, really wrong with this picture because it's like, I think the answer to the whole thing is, you really don't want us here. They've been trying to tell us that for so long, but they don't have a solution.
yeah,
Because what we do know is that we come too far now. We, like the lady said, we ain't going back. How you gonna send us back?
we have no connection to who we are in the first place.
We are 30% European, regardless, because of the rape and all the stuff that you guys did. So
yeah.
how we gonna go back to what? We're not Africans. We're so far away from being Africans. You know, they look at us like we're crazy talking about coming back to Africa. They messed that up. So now either you got to accept us or what? Where we at? And that's where we at now. It's like, no, we can't accept you guys because. But okay, so what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You know. So I did my DNA last 6 months ago. 30% European.
Right.
What you gonna tell me where to go?
Yeah.
You can't tell me where to go. I'm already. You messed that up 500 years ago.
Yeah.
Before I got here.
Exactly. Exactly. They just don't get
can't
it.
have both ways. Wow. We are who we are. We can't change because somebody snapped their finger and wants us to change. Or you're tired of us now. We're getting too close to the kingdom. We get too close to, you can't let them get that close to. He was a president. No, we can't have two of them presidents. No. Not a black female. You can't have a black female.
That's way too. Yeah, that's. But I didn't mind it, bro. I didn't mind it. I still don't mind it.
I loved it. You know what? I wouldn't have cared if it was a black female, Latina female, white female. I just think I'm tired of y'all. I'm tired of y'all thinking that y'all run everything. Give somebody else a chance to run the country.
Yeah.
It's like
I
nuts.
know.
Yeah,
And then they let that get back in there. Oh my goodness.
Oh man, but like the guy said, you asked for it, you got it.
Yeah.
Now,
passport, you're going to get it.
Be willing to deal with it, right? Be willing to deal with it now.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to deal with the big R, the remorse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
you
that.
see the people that you see the people he's putting in. It's like,
right off the bat.
Go ahead and get the Ku Klux Klan and let them on in too.
It's a clown show. It's a clown
that's pretty much what you got.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You got some Klan members in your cabinet. Okay. So that's where we at.
That's where we're at.
That's where we are. It's terrible.
Lord have mercy.
Unbelievable.
I know.
But we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
You know,
We're gonna be all right.
yeah, I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
If anybody, if any group of people can endure, we know who we're talking about.
Exactly. Thank you guys, man, for having me on the show.
Oh,
Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you, the art that you're doing, and all I got to say is just keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Yes.
Thank you, man. I surely will. I appreciate that, man. When the kids gave me a little bag, man, get bag of stuff.
Okay. All right.
Hey.
Thank you, Mr. Carey. I was like, okay. I hope there's some food in here.
That's nice.
You good? Thank you, man.
All right, brother. Well, keep it up, and we will definitely talk again. And
Okay.
And congratulations, man, on this project. It's great.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Hey, Von, I'll look out for you, man. Get my info from Gary. Get my info from Gary and give me an email. Yeah. And I'll get you a ticket for
Like I said, we're not far from each other, brother. We're gonna get together.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right. Take care, brother.
Okay.
Out of
all right, Vaughn. We did it. We will return next week, and next week we have music guest Victoria Horn is going to be on the show, so be looking out for that. And then we also have Joe Levy on the 30th. That's going to be a good one.
Joe Levy.
Yeah, on the 30th. And then of course we on December, the first Saturday of December, we're gonna have a gentleman. Let's see, Desiree just texted me this weekend. Let's see, his name is, and I heard of him too, and I'm thinking it's a possibility that we might have had him on the show a long time ago, but I'm not sure if it's the same one. But it's a, let's see, let me make sure. I don't want to say the wrong name. Because I was in the middle of, Jay White. Yeah, Jay White.
Jay White?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
He was one of my first interviews back in the day when I was at Jazz Beats Radio.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Jay is, oh, my gosh.
All right. Well, cool.
Oh, my man in Detroit. That's Jay.
Very good, very good. But yeah.
And you know what? I said to myself, I know after our interview, his career took off. So I told him, I said, you got that Jazz Beats Radio karma, bro.
Yeah.
He went there, man, and he was rolling strong. You know.
Now, is he
the last few years he's just been putting out just great work, you know.
Is he a saxophone player?
That's right.
Yeah, sure that's what I thought.
Jay White, man.
So,
wow.
So that's coming up on the.
That is so cool.
I believe the 7th of December. I think that's the first Saturday, I believe.
Okay.
But we got a little bit lined up and coming, and then of course it'll be time to jump into the new year pretty soon. So we're gonna be filling that all up pretty soon. So
yeah, I bet. You know, but it's cool. You know. Gary,
yes, sir.
I appreciate you, bro. Allowing me to participate in this on a regular, because I can feel myself sinking in and really, having, something to engage people about and stuff like that. So I can only say thank you, brother. Well,
I thank you.
This is, I kind of look at it as this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and just hopefully we can get somebody, get some exposure, and people say, hey, I like what they got.
Yes.
Let's do something with them cats right there.
Absolutely. Well, let me say bye-bye. Colleen, girl, glad to see you back in the chat, and I know you're doing better if you're in the chat, so that's so good.
Well, we're glad of that too. Absolutely.
And Gia, great to see you. It looked like D-Raw Music was in there. I see he had mentioned something, I think, when we were talking a little bit earlier. Oh, yeah, I remember he had mentioned, he said, as a music director for Dave Koz, we helped create I Feel You on on that smooth jazz market. So that's, I guess, when we were all talking about, you know, how,
right,
you know, all that stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, stuff going on.
Yeah, but all right, well, let's wrap this thing up and get on out of here, and we'll do it all again next week. So,
all right, everybody be good. Have
Yep.
a great rest of your week and weekend. And in the words of one Mr. Lamont Sanford, oh, double jack.
Oh, double jack. All right. We out.
All right.
We are out.